Right, we're back on Jones and we are doing clever things to wheel arches. Right, that's done on the inside. Looks messy, it's smooth, it'll be fine and waterproof. Similarly, on the inside of Jones's arch, we have these sections. Did that, now done that piece at the front. Had to make a lip on the back and then do these imitation spot welds. Well, they are spot welds. They're plug welds onto there, and that will all, again, look good and will look correct when it's all done. Moving on up here, this is awkward because this is the inner wheel arch, the inner wheel arch if you wish. This is the sort of suspension cup. So I've got inner arch up here that had to be cut off where it was rotted, and then the floor of the boot comes over and then bends around. Right, so it looks essentially like this and like this, and that's a pain because I've got sections inside the boot itself, and I'm going to need to make a piece which comes over here, then so be about 20 millimeters wide, then does a right angle, and then another 20 millimeters on the inside of the arch. And that's where I will then I'll weld that on, and then I'll make my flat section of inner arch, just cut out, and that'll weld on there, and then weld on there with the imitation, with the plug welds, and it'll be back to factory strength. Snag is though that this is a piece of angled steel, about 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter, about 1.5 thick, and very, very difficult because once you've angled it, it doesn't want to bend. But this device I bought on eBay from a British company. I'm not sure it's made, but their sales, their after sales service was absolutely great. And I phoned them up because I was having difficulty working it, and I realise now it's just my own stupidity and maybe not figuring out what goes on with the instructions. The trick is it's got these little grippy jaws, and you have to put your piece of steel in between them, and as you press down with force, the jaws in this case go inwards and it will shrink your piece of steel. So I've been going along with this with my bit of steel inside the jaws, and the trick is that you only insert about halfway along the thing that you're stretching, and then give it a good go on the handle. I cheated, just added a 140 series exhaust pipe off-cut because I'm in an awkward place and my left arm is not as strong as my right, but that has worked, and my original straight piece of arch or piece of angle is now like this. And if we go along, it's now going to do that job. It's now going to do the job up here, an absolute treat. Right, I can clamp it onto the boot floor, weld it on there. I'll just do that as an overlap weld, and then here I'll do and then I'll be able to weld the inner arch on, and it'll all match up a treat. So there we go. I can clamp it on because of the gap here, and that should not be too much bother. Just make sure I don't have any paint on the bits that I'm actually trying to weld. Right, so onwards, forwards. See you soon.